Yes, you're good. Recording.
All right. So good evening, everybody. My name is Katie Gamage, and I'm here tonight to talk to you about a class I actually took last week for my full-time job, and it was called Managing Multiple Priorities, Deadlines, and Projects. I live a very busy life, and I had a feeling that I would get a lot out of it. What surprised me the most was that I got probably half of the content was related to what we do as coaches. So I came back so excited, telling Joan that I couldn't wait to share everything that I learned, and I really appreciate her inviting me to lead the call tonight. So welcome, everybody. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about me, since some of you don't know me. I'm married. I have 3 teenage boys. I work from home full time, and I love that because I get to stay home with my 2 dogs, which you see there. That's Emma and Bruno. I'm completely obsessed with them. I work in a dog sandwich every day. I live in Poland, and I started coaching about 14 months ago. I've made Success Club 9 out of the last 14 months, and I can tell you without pause that every month I didn't make Success Club was because I wasn't working my business. And the minute I worked my business, I made Success Club. So it's all about being consistent and really just showing up every day. And the information that I learned during this class and that I'm going to pass on to you really gave me some reflection back onto why didn't I work those months and what really was holding me back. And I think it all boiled down to being overwhelmed. So tonight I'm going to give you a tool set, so to speak, of maybe how to navigate through those overwhelming feelings so that you have a plan, a kind of a GPS on how to get from point A to point B. So before we really kick off, I want to start with the Success Club and any other team announcements. So this month, so far, we have quite a few that have already made Success Club. So way to go, girls. Kylie, Shannon, Joan, Sydney, Katie, and Mackenzie. And then a whole group of us are on our way. That's Meg, Lindsay, Emily, Bridget, Kat, Beth, Rachel, Aaron, and myself. Still plenty of time. We're only halfway through the month, so keep it going, girls, and don't stop until the end of the month. Some upcoming events wanted to remind everybody of. We have Super Saturday coming up on April 8th. The last event was absolutely incredible. It's important that you show up at these events. It's really going to fuel your fire inside and make you really feel like you're part of the team environment. So I have a feeling the invitation for the next Super Saturday will be coming out soon. And the sooner you register for it, the cheaper the tickets are. And don't forget to invite some of your peeps. Any non-coaches can go for free. So you can bring your mom, your dad, your best friend, and so they can check out what this whole thing is about. Success Club trip registration for 2018 is coming out. The invitations have started trickling out via email, so make sure that you keep an eye on that. Also, 2017 Summit registration. If you've never been to Summit, you want to get there. If you haven't registered yet, you'll want to do that as soon as possible. Excuse me, my dog is in the way here.
I think her dog kicked her off. Oh, no. That's all right. We'll wait for her to come back. Yeah, so she's making a good point. For those of you who are on this call who are not registered for Summit already, get registered. If you don't know what that is, that's our biggest event of the entire year. It only happens once a year. This year it's going to be down in New Orleans, which is pretty cool. All of our events will take place at the Superdome. And you're back. What did the dog do?
She got in the way, but then it was just coincidence that my screen froze, and I noticed right away because my green light went out. I was like, oh shit. So sorry about that. So you were talking about, I think, Summit.
Yeah, I was just telling you a little bit about Summit to fill in some space while you're getting back on, but go for it.
Sorry. So I think she probably finished it off. The next is a vision board party. Joan has talked about doing it with the team. Not sure who will be able to make it or what day we're going to do it, but even if you can't join us, I imagine we can probably jump on Zoom so that even if you can't be there in person, you can be there remote. If not, get together with your own teams and whatever it takes, make your vision board this year. I've never done one, but I've seen the power of it in this past year. So I encourage everybody to do one, even if it's on your own. And also, we are trying to plan a team brunch on February 19th at the Royal River Grill in Yarmouth. Be there or be square. Everybody's welcome, but do comment in the post and Project Fearless so that way they can get a head count and make the appropriate reservation. All right, so kicking off, we're going to talk first about the motivation. And did you know that 88% of New Year's resolutions fail? And the reason that they fail is because 80% of what we do and awake and 100% of what we do when we're asleep is controlled by our subconscious. And that subconscious is really managed by repetition. And if you aren't willing to change, you're not going to get that repetition in play. Well, what gets you to keep that repetition going is value, right? So you need to try to find the value in yourself. If it's your challengers, you need to try to find what works for them. So, for example, you're sitting in a room full of people and somebody drops a pencil on the floor. Are you necessarily like motivated to pick it up? Probably you have your own pencil. You don't give a crap about that pencil on the floor. But what if it was a $100 bill? So basically, nobody is lazy. You just need to find what gets that particular fire burning in that person. And it's different for you than it is for your challenger, for your mom, for your coach that's working under you. And it is so important that you identify what that is and continuously reminding yourself so that you can keep that engine going. So how many of you pick McDonald's versus, clean food? Have you ever seen the movie Super Size Me about McDonald's? And if you have, I bet you're still going to McDonald's. And the reason why is because that little jingle, do, 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 like it's everywhere, right? And marketers are playing on that part of our subconscious mind about the repetition to actually control our behaviors. So it's up to you to surround yourself with things that are going to get you closer to your goal instead of further away. And you have complete control over that. You can fast forward through the commercials. You cannot watch TV at all. Go on YouTube. That is a great place because you can really control your content. And I'll give you an example. So my challengers, one of the first things during the week that I remind them about is what TV shows they're watching. So first of all, make sure that you can get your workout in before you watch your TV. But when you're watching TV, be careful of what you're watching. You don't want to be watching Chopped, Top Chef, Cupcake Wars, those things that make you think of horrible foods. You know what I mean? You want to avoid those things and surround yourself with positivity and things that are health-minded. Watch workout shows or, something that's unrelated to food would be even better. So how many here are gardeners? And I'm just using this as an analogy, but if you have a garden, you plant seeds, right? And if you plant seeds, you expect something to grow. You put in the work, you till the soil, you fertilize, you water it. You're really going to expect some sort of harvest. And if you plant tulips, you expect tulips. If you plant cucumbers, you expect cucumbers. So you set the goal, you achieve the goal, and it was because you had a plan. Your soil is just like your subconscious mind. Whatever you plant there is going to grow. You plant negativity, that is what's going to grow. Now, imagine your neighbor doesn't do anything with their garden. Something is still growing, right? And that's weeds. And what happens to those weeds? They spread and they end up in your lawn. So you have this beautiful green lawn and then somebody's weeds are coming around. So make sure that you're surrounding yourself with amazing, positive, uplifting people. If you're the most successful person in the room, you're probably in the wrong room. Just be very mindful of who you're spending your time with, whether it's your friends, your family, and I know we can't pick our family, but we certainly can control the way the conversations go or how they make us feel. So just be careful of who you're spending time with. So here we are about vision boards. Vision boards are so important, but where do you start? I know I personally was a little overwhelmed. I've seen people put pictures of their Mercedes-Benz and the big house, but really, how did they come to those conclusions? Well, the best way, and this is where you probably want to write this stuff down or refer back to the recorded call so you can get this list of 7 things. But you want to ask yourself 4 questions for every single item on this list. And this is going to help you reflect and evaluate where you are each different part of your life. So your financial. What does your financial situation look like 1 to 5 years from now? How much do you have in savings? And be specific. $22,512. Be specific. How much income are you making? Is any of it passive? What do you have for investments? When it comes to your career, what are you doing for a job? Where are you working? Who are you working alongside? What service are you providing? You can even get all the way down to what wardrobe you need to wear when you go to that job. What does your family and free time look like? You know, if you currently don't have children, do you want children? If so, how many do you want? Are they boys? Are they girls? I mean, I know we don't necessarily have control over that, but free time, what does that free time look like? Do you want to be able to go to yoga class or go skiing? Do you want to go on vacation? If you want to go on vacation, where do you want to go? Is it a white sandy beach? Is it the snowy mountains? Do you want to go hiking? You know, be very specific. And how much of it do you want? Is it 1 week a year? Is it 2 months a year? Whatever it is that you want, you need to write it down and be very specific. What is your health? You know, do you have any cholesterol problems now that you want eliminated? Put that on your vision board. Put that on your list. What does your relationships look like? And I'm not just talking about your love interest. You know, if you're single now and you want to be married, I mean, do you have any other relationships in your life that you want to improve on or you want to maintain? For me, the relationships with my kids are so important right now because they're teenagers. So this is the time where they want to pull away. And my vision, you know, years ahead from now is that they still want to come home and do things with the family and not completely break away. They still want to be part of this nucleus, you know, and this nest that I've created. Personal growth. What does that look like for you? Are you attending seminars? Are you taking a regular yoga class? Are you going to therapy? Are you reading books? If you're reading books, what ones are they? And making a difference. Do you see yourself volunteering? Do you see yourself contributing to charity in a financial means? Or do you want to get your kids involved? You know, maybe you volunteer, but 5 years from now, your vision is of your whole family doing something. What is it? Is it Habitat for Humanity? Is it the SPCA? Is it the food bank? Whatever it is, just be very specific. And you need to ask yourself those 4 questions. Why do you want it? What could you do to get yourself there? Maybe what have you done in the past that prohibited you from getting there in the first place? When do you want to achieve it? And like I said, be specific. If your brain has an end goal, you can set the GPS, but if without a vision, it has nowhere to go. The subconscious mind is going to keep following the path of least resistance. The easiest way to get there. I mean, think, how many times have you driven to work and have no idea how you got there? It's because you had a destination, your brain knew how to get there, and it just went. It's kind of the same thing. You need to have that clear picture at the end of the road and follow that road every single day, doing things to get you on that track so that you can pave the new way. And eventually, that is what is going to bring you where you want to be. There was a story that he told us about how repetition is so important to the subconscious mind, and he gave us an example. So back, I don't even know the year, the astronauts did a test with these glasses that they put on. And when they put the glasses on, it flipped their visual upside down. And they did this for 35 days. Halfway through the 35-day period, they had half the group take the glasses off for just a 24-hour period. And what happened was absolutely amazing and was a testament to how the brain can be rewired. So the group that kept their glasses on for the full 35 days, at the end of the 35 days, their mind actually flipped the images back upright. The ones that had to take the glasses off for 24 hours and put them back on, at the 35-day mark, their vision was still upside down, and it did not flip the correct way until the 35 days after they put them back on. That is exactly why health and fitness goals are derailed so easily, because you take one day off that first 30 to 35 days and your brain is right back on to the old habits. Old habits die hard. So now that you have your vision, now that you know where you want to be, you kind of need to set the roadmap for how to get there. And you need to set goals, and they need to be very specific. Now, I know some of you, especially if you're in business, have probably seen this acronym before about SMART goals. They need to be specific. They need to be measurable. They need to be attainable, meaning, be realistic. They need to be relevant to what it is that you're going after. You wouldn't say, my goal is to shovel the driveway today if my goal is to get to Jamaica. They're totally unrealistic, not relevant. And timely. You need to make sure that you actually have a deadline on there. So, and I absolutely encourage you to set short-term and long-term goals. So 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, even as long as 6 months. And the long-term goals that you set, what you should do is reach for the stars. Don't limit yourself on where you think you can really be in the long term. Because if you had originally set your goal here and the sky is here, I bet you're actually going to go here, which is much further than you would have originally gone if you had set your goal to be kind of mediocre. Don't hold yourself back. So now that we have our vision, we set our goals, how are we actually going to accomplish this? Well, there are a few key tips that you can use. So one of them is the 55 plan. And what that means is you will spend, let's say on Sundays, 50 minutes planning out your entire week. And you actually want to look at things a week at a glance and not a day at a time. And then when you're on the actual day, you want to spend 5 minutes a day, usually at the end of your day, planning the next day. And it's not really a plan so much as it's rearranging your priorities for the next day, because obviously new information has come in on this current day that might impact tomorrow, new deadline, new project, whatever the case may be. This is really how you're going to be most effective. Darren Hardy, who if you guys don't subscribe to Darren Dailies, I highly recommend that you do. Just Google it. You can sign up. It's a free subscription. And every morning he texts you a 2 to 3 minute video about, I don't even know. It's really personal development. His topic is different every day. And he has a lot of inspiring things to say. But what he talks about for time management is to group it, chunk it, and compress it. So what you want to do is group all of your like tasks together, which I think some of us already do that. So if you have conversations that you need to have with some of your perspectives, you want to do them all at the same time. You want to do all your planning at the same time. And then when you're planning out your calendar, you're going to take big chunks of time and you're going to say, this is when I'm going to set my business hours for having conversations. And when that time is up, that's it. You move on to the next thing.
George. Technical difficulties. Maybe she's got a bad internet connection. She does live in Poland. It's the sticks. Sticks. Dana, that just happens to me. and, and then I almost kill myself while trying to go to the bathroom. This afternoon we were talking and my computer completely died while we were on a Zoom call, and I was trying to get it plugged in, and then I tripped over the cord. It was a whole debacle. All right, hold on. Let's see here. I'm gonna message her and see if she's having a hard time getting back on. She's trying. She just messaged me. Yeah, and she's almost done, she said.
Sorry, I'm back. And I'm almost done too.
Welcome.
All right. Sorry, my internet apparently is quite unstable this evening. All right, so I think I was leaving off with compression. I think is where I was. Okay, so compression is basically when you set a long-term goal, long-term meaning 60 or 90 days, you really can push so hard to get you going, but you can't push that hard for any sustainable long amount of time because you're going to become exhausted. So there was a gentleman by the name of Brian Tracy who used an analogy of a plane taking off. Most of the jet fuel that is used during a flight is when the plane is taking off. It's so heavy and it actually needs all that momentum. But once it's up in the air, it doesn't need much at all. So just keep in mind that whatever you're doing, if it's a big push, you can only sustain it for a very, very short period of time. The next part of managing your time is breaking it up into 4 different parts of your day. So your focus time is when you are most productive during the day. So if you are most productive at 10 o'clock in the morning, this is where you're going to want to put the tasks of your day that require you to focus the most. Maybe it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Everybody's biorhythms are different. I'm a night owl, so getting me to do anything in the morning is useless. Flex time, that's another block of time where you kind of do those little things that, respond to your emails, your phone calls, get caught up on anything that might have come in that sometime during that day. Then you have free time. We all have an inner child and we all need to let that out and play sometimes. And that could be as simple as going and getting your Starbucks coffee. If you do not let that inner child out every once in a while, that inner child is actually going to start breaking things. It's going to break your relationship. It's going to break your health. It's so important to take that me time. And for me, that's my workout. That's my making sure that I'm eating healthy. And then your refocus time is usually at the end of the day. It's a small chunk of time where you spend your 5 minutes a day to plan your next day and kind of just reevaluate what happened through the day. How productive were you? Where did you spend all your time? Which is what this little graph here, or this little picture here with these 4 quadrants. There are different tasks. Some of them are high priority. Some of them are urgent, need to be done now. Some of them are administrative things. And some of them are just flat out time wasters, like being on Facebook. So number 4, time wasting activities. That's where you don't want to spend any of your time. Spot number 1 is all your hot items, your emergencies. You don't really want to be spending a lot of time there either if you can help it. The majority of your time should be spent actually planning out your things and executing in a very methodical way. You want to avoid all the distractions that you possibly can. So shut off your email, shut off your Facebook notifications, get out of the news feed, get out of, Instagram, unless you're there for a purpose. And last but not least, procrastination. It is absolutely the assassination of your attitude. It's the best quote I've ever heard. It is so important not to procrastinate because it kind of eats away at you. It's draining. And no matter how much of a positive person you are, if you have 100 million things weighing on you over here, it's going to affect your mood. It's going to make you tired and cranky and just low energy. So you want to eat that frog. Everybody's heard about the personal development book, Eat That Frog. I personally haven't read it. I've read the Cliff's Notes. I've watched a bunch of videos on it. The premise is whatever it is, that task that you hate, that you're dreading, is the one you want to get up and do in the morning. The quicker you get that out of the way, the more productive you're going to be throughout the day because you're more clear-headed. And if you fear something, that's what you should be doing. If you're afraid to post your before and afters on social media, you should be doing it. If you're afraid to talk in front of other people, you need to go find a way to have a speaking engagement in front of others. Doing it is going to push that fear aside, and it's just going to make you more successful in the end. That's all I have. Do you guys have any specific questions? I'm sorry for all the interruptions.
Nice job, Katie. Thank you so much. If you want to go ahead and stop sharing your screen, then I can just make it so that we can see everybody. There we go. Perfect. All right. Does anybody have questions for Katie? Does anybody have questions in general about coaching? People are saying thanks. Awesome call, Katie. Great. Thanks. Awesome. Yeah. That point about do the thing that you like to do the least first, it just frees up all of your energy too throughout the day. You're not worrying about that thing that you don't want to do. You've already done it. And so the rest of your day, you can be more creative. You'll have more energy. You'll be more pumped about doing everything else. I reward myself with things like I like making little, graphics, and I like doing trainings, and I like doing things like checking in our challenge group. And I like, I even like putting up my own posts or editing pictures to do a post with. So I save those things for last because that's my reward for doing the other behaviors that maybe aren't quite as fun to do. And so I think that's awesome. Yeah, if you haven't gotten Eat That Frog, everybody should get that. Also, another great book, and you reminded me of it too, Katie, when you started talking about SMART, is Get Over Your Damn Self. If you haven't read that book yet, you guys go order it, download it on audio or whatever. It's called Get Over Your Damn Self, and it was written by a woman who is in a different multi-level marketing company, but it all pertains exactly to what we do. And literally, I'm reading through it and I'm like, wow, this is like me training a new coach. It's literally do. So if you read that, it's going to help you. If you pass it on to your coaches, it's going to help them. Can you post a pic of the SMART goal steps on the Facebook group page? Katie, can you do that?
Yep, no problem.
Also, I'll go ahead and I will post the recording of this call when we get off here and when we're done. Last but not least, everybody was talking about party, Zoom / get together for dream boarding. Meg, you want to do that instead of games? Meg, you look frozen. No, you're moving. You're just... You're also muted.
Loser. Yeah, we could do that.
So Beth, I know you said maybe an issue with the baby. Do you want to just do it at Meg? Do you want to do it at your house?
If everybody wants to travel to Wyndham.
I just talked to Matt and it's fine if we do it here. It's up to you guys.
Okay. Well, you two fight over which house we do it at. I don't care.
I'm not hauling all the shit.
I'm not fighting. Beth, you can have it. I'm just kidding.
All
if
right.
somebody wants to come help pack 1 million magazines into my car, we can do it at Meg's.
I actually saved my magazines all year round for this, and then you two doofuses were like, hey, I don't think we're going to do the party this year. And I was like, it's the only year I've saved magazines. I was finally prepared. We're still recording.